beautiful friends. So I'm so excited to do this training for you. I'm going to try to keep it super to the point, but also load you with a ton of information. So you're going to want to have a pen and paper for notes, but we're going to really dive into sales for people that are business owners. But if you're not a business owner, I want you to really look at this and also say this doesn't have to just be for sales, because we all have sales energy from the moment that we come out of the womb, from the moment that we are, out of our mom's body. We're trying to sell what we want. We're trying to get what we want as human beings, which is, milk or food or just survival, whatever that looks like for you. And so when I'm talking about business, because this is going to be for business owners to help them grow their communication with their clients, but look at it as in your relationships too. You have to share your ideas. You have to sell your ideas. I always tell people, if you can't sell your husband on an idea, you're not going to be able to sell other people on your products or your services. And so when you start to think about this, even within parenting, you're trying to sell your kids ideas constantly, but why is it not getting through to people? Why are people not listening to what you have to say? Why are people not buying your product or service? And it was really interesting because I had a call this morning with a lady that has an amazing program that she has out there. Like, I'm literally going to buy it myself. It's that good. But I was confused at first until I started working with her today, and I was like, I honestly didn't know what it was. I was confused because we're not understanding how to communicate with people properly. And so we're going to really dive in, and we're going to talk about communication. We're going to talk about how do you communicate in an effective way, which can sell an idea to your partner, to your kids, or in this case, we're going to talk about business. And so we all were born with the ability to sell. The problem is we started to lose our sales ability. Why? Because of past blocks, because of a time maybe you were told no, because of some sort of trauma. Hey, Bree, how are you? I always love seeing your face on here. You're always like, hey, girl, hey. It always amps up my energy. So, but we're always figuring out, why is it that we have this blocks with sales? The hard part about business or growing that new thing that you want in your life is not the ability to actually create the strategy around it. I always tell people, you could make your first 6 figures without a website, without a marketing plan, without all of this stuff, without branding. I did. That's like with creating healthy babies. When I first started that, I think I had like a $25 Fiverr logo, and I just registered people through like my little Square thing. Like, that literally was all I had. And I created my first 6 figures with just that. And so many people get so caught up in their head that they need more, and they need to do everything and make it perfect before they can actually sell their idea to somebody. And so for me, I'm here to tell you that's not the case. Now, here's the thing. I will forever do strategy. I will forever have a business coach, but I'm talking to the people that you're almost stuck in your idea. You're stuck in this thing of like, I know I want to start a business, or even I know I have this thing that I want, or maybe you have had this business and you've taken all these courses and you're too afraid to just tell people you're not freaking making money. And that's probably what I run into the most, is there's people out there that everything looks pretty. They have all the photos, they have the website, they have all the stuff. And then when I talk to them, they're like, oh, like I'm making maybe $1,000, or maybe they're making $5,000, but it's inconsistent. And so for me, it's because you don't know how to communicate properly. And if you don't know how to communicate properly to your clients, you're probably having horrible communication in your relationships, and you're probably having horrible communications with your kids. And so we're going to really dive in deep, and we're going to talk about, when did you lose yours? What was it that happened? What was that first trigger of, and you're probably going to have to journal about this. Like, what was your first trigger that made you really suck at sales? So when I first started a business, I actually was doing really, really well. I grew creating healthy babies very naturally. It just kind of happened on its own. And then from there, I stepped into another business that was not doing very well financially, and I grew that business to 6 figures. And it was just, everything was at ease. Selling was fun for me. Everything was just growing naturally. Well, then when I actually had all of that public sabotage with creating healthy babies and people bashing me, and it really tore me down emotionally. I was like, what am I gonna do? Like, I already had these other businesses, so I knew that money wasn't an issue, but all of a sudden it became an issue. And the reason it became an issue was because I was sitting there and I didn't feel confident. I had had this trauma hit me of like, why would I want to keep growing my businesses if there's an opportunity for it to just get ripped from under me? Why, if I'm doing such good in this world and I feel like there's a lot of people doing bad in this world, but they're successful, why would I be successful? Because I'm already doing good in the world and I feel like God's against me. And so I want you to really think about that and what it is. Bree says, not that MLM is bad, but because of mindset around it, having to be perfect on my money mindset and scarcity mindset. And yes, this is, I missed this part. I see this actually a lot with network marketers or people that own product-based businesses. They don't last because, just like Bree says, you're doing it for 8 years and you're not seeing anything. And the problem isn't the actual company. They say that network marketers actually jump for like 5 different network marketing companies before they actually stick to one. And why is that? Because they start to realize that the issue wasn't actually the company. The issue wasn't actually the product. The issue was the way that you were communicating, the way that you were selling, and also were you really all in? And so you've got to really think about this. And I would ask you, and I hope you're taking notes, I would ask you next is, why do you need to get past these blocks? First, you have to identify the blocks. But why do you actually have to get rid of the blocks? Why? What is your reasoning? Because here's what I will tell you. We've all met those people that you thought, I just realized I don't even think I'm live in my group. And this was supposed to go in my group. I'm just going to keep going with it. Obviously, there's a reason that I am live here. If somebody, though, maybe Bree, could you go hop over in my group and tell people I accidentally went live in the wrong spot? Because I don't think that I can share it anywhere. Yeah, that's really interesting. So I'm just going to keep going with it, and I guess I'll share it over. Somebody that's not in my group, Expand Your Destiny, must have needed to hear this today. So anyways, now I lost my train of thought because I just barely realized that. But you've got to figure out, why do you need to get past your blocks? Because if you had more sales, if you knew how to communicate better with maybe your spouse or your family, it depends. Thank you, Bree. It depends on where you're at, but I'm going to talk to business owners here. But if I say sales or communication or clients, you relate it to something else in your life. Bree, in the group, Expand Your Destiny. How would you show up more differently for your family? If you actually started making changes in the way that you communicated, how would your sales be better? And if you had better sales, or if you had a new job, or if you had new results in your life, how would you show up more for your family? How would your life look differently? How would you show up more for the world? What impact would you make in this world? Who would you be? You have to start to become somebody different to create the new results that you want in your life. And I see so many people, they just get so stuck in where they're at, and it breaks my heart. Every excuse, I can't quit my job because of insurance. I can't quit my job because it's a stability and I have to raise my family. And I'm like, no, to be able to take care of your family, that's just survival. You'll figure it out, but you haven't put yourself in a situation that's sink or swim. And same with business owners. I see people, like I said, that have the prettiest brands in the world, but they are not consistently making money. They are not consistently bringing in the income that they need to bring in. but they put on a show like everything is great, because they think if they just show a little more, then, and they just show up as perfect, people are going to think they're perfect. And my coach calls it business karma. Business karma is real. If you're not actually doing things that you're preaching, you will not get those things. And I think that's where people took the law of attraction a little too far, is, oh, like kind of fake it till you make it type thing, which I believe to an extent you have to live like you want to be. And sometimes that means faking your mind into saying, you know what, I'm successful, and you tell yourself that even though you don't believe it and it's a lie, but you start to live that way and you start to manifest it. But people take it to the extreme where they really aren't successful, or I see this a lot in coaching. They literally are selling coaching, but they literally don't have a coach in that moment. And I'm like, you want people to believe in coaching, but you literally do not consistently have a coach. Or you want people to buy your product, but you're literally not buying other products from other people. Or you want people to like really value what you're worth, and that whole charge what you're worth and don't go below that, but you're literally not willing to charge what other people are worth. You're constantly saying, I can't afford it, I don't have enough money, all of these different things. And so, thank you, Bree. So I want you to really think about, as you are stepping into these things, are you really doing this for your why? Are you really tapping into why you need to show up more? And are you really being true and authentic to who you are? Because a lot of times we start to dive into where we're at now, and we train people where we're at now, but we don't actually sell people what the actual transformation was. So for example, if I was still doing gut health, to the extent that I used to do it, it would be unfair for me to say that you actually need to, so I sell Juice Plus. A lot of people don't know that because I don't have to market that. That's about your strategy, but people don't know I sell Juice Plus. So I sell Juice Plus. It would be a lie for me to say to heal your gut, you have to be taking Juice Plus. That is an extra tool in my toolbox that I've added along the way, but that actually really wasn't the first thing that I actually did. And so a lot of times your selling points and your communication with people is, you have to have this that I'm doing right now, but really you should be selling them on what you did to get to where you're at. And so I kind of went on a little bit of a tangent there, but you've got to figure out those things so far. Number one, where did you lose your sales energy? What happened for you to become unconfident in selling to people, in following up, in actually showing up to the highest potential that you can, to really believe in your product and service enough to not spam people, but to consistently show up and show them the opportunities to be able to work with you. And then, why do you need to get past your blocks? Who's it for? How's your life going to change? How are you going to change the world? And then I think the most important question that you need to ask yourself is, how are you benefiting from staying the same? How are you benefiting from actually not making a change in your life? Whether it's sales, whether it's health, whether it's your mindset, they all go hand in hand. Everything has to be balanced and flowing for you to actually grow in this world. And you have to ask yourself, how am I benefiting by actually not making more money? Because money isn't the issue, you guys. Money just is not the issue. I can tell you that right now. The issue is whatever you're benefiting from that outweighs how much you actually want this thing. So if someone's like, oh, my goal is $10,000 this month, I'm like, awesome, are you making $10,000 action steps? Because people that make $10,000 a month, they make $10,000 action steps. They're sacrificing something. They're actually like, there's this almost a sacrifice you have to make at every level, or this adjustment you have to make at every level. I'm not saying you have to give your life away for your dreams, but I will tell you there is always periods of sacrifice. There's always a hustle stage. But the problem is is we get confident because one time somebody bought a $5,000 package from us, or one time we made, you know, a $20,000 deal or something like that. But then we don't do anything. We've told ourselves, oh, I can do it. Oh, I can do it. Oh yeah, I know how to make money. Oh yeah, but like, are you really consistently doing that? Or are you just telling yourself, I've done it once, so it's all fine? Because we all get lucky. We all get like those golden manifestations that come about. But the goal is how are you consistently creating what you need to create? And here's the thing, is you can't think of yourself. You need to think about also, what are the consequences if you don't show up? That was confusing, figuring out what was considered the main page. That was confusing, figuring out what, I'm not understanding what you're saying, but I'll come back to that. So what I want you to really think about is, what are the consequences? Literally, whose lives are not being saved because you're not going after your dreams? What if it would be so much easier, you guys, for me to just, I don't need to work. My husband works, he makes plenty of money, like I'm good. I don't need to work for financial reasons. I actually would probably be, you know, content sitting around playing with my kids all day, watching, no, actually I probably wouldn't. Like watching TV, having hobbies and all these things. But do you know the lives and the marriages that are getting destroyed if I don't show up? If I don't teach people about money, if I don't teach people about business, somebody is hurting because I'm choosing not to show up. That is a consequence. And when your consequences outweigh the benefits of what you're benefiting from it, and you can shift that, you start to actually make the action steps that you want in your life. And so I want you to really ask yourself, have you gotten yourself into this, have you sunken yourself into a dark hole that you don't want to admit? So sometimes we live in happy land, which is awesome. Like I say my declarations, I do all of my manifesting stuff. I tap into all of that because energy, spirit, creation, that is always first. Like first and foremost, that's where it all begins. But what starts to happen is we get so much in happy mode, we forget about the truth. We forget about our actual integrity to be honest and be like, this is my reality though. This is where I'm at. This is really what I'm afraid of. This is really why I'm not showing up. This is really why I'm not selling. I'm afraid of what people are going to think of me. I'm afraid if I share myself again, people are going to come publicly and falsely attack me. I'm afraid that I'm going to feel so defeated when people, you know, say no to me, like I'm doing something wrong. And so we stay busy, but we're not actually productive. We don't actually look at, how is this affecting my kids that I'm not moving a little faster? I'm just spreading out the sacrifice. I'm making the sacrifice be way too long when I could just get my shiz together and move and push forth. And so I really want you to understand, like, let me pull up my little chart so I say this in order of how I say it, but you've got to understand what makes up a human. Number one, it's their identity. Who are they? Who is it that they, like, who are they? What's their identity? Then they have their belief system. Who do they believe they are? So it's interesting when and I'll be totally real and vulnerable with you. I hosted a money energy event. Oh my gosh, it turned out beyond perfect, beyond amazing. I had nearly almost 100% show rate, which is unheard of for an event. And everybody had amazing feedback and it was awesome. It turned out really good. Here's the thing though, rewind. Before that event, I was like, oh, I know I can do it. I've hosted bigger events. I've hosted things that it's like, I know how to do it. Logically, I knew that. But where it was new and I was doing it by myself, my belief was, there's no way people are going to come. I had just had my miscarriage. I'm like, I haven't even been marketing this long enough. There's no way I can do this. What's this going to look like? Oh my gosh. Like I was telling myself stories and I didn't actually believe I could pull it off. But because I knew that my belief is what was off, I knew that I know how to fix my belief system. So I fixed my belief system, and what do you know? People were showing up everywhere, sharing my posts everywhere. They were like, you got to come to this, inviting people, buying people tickets. Like people were buying other people tickets. It was really cool to see how, because I knew I knew my identity, I knew the logic of who I am and what I'm able to do, but my belief system was off. And then from there, you're made up of what you think you're capable of. Okay, am I capable of this? I definitely knew I was capable of it. I've done it multiple times. I knew I could do it. So that wasn't off. But some people, like, if you don't feel capable enough, you've got to fix your capabilities. You've got to learn a new skill. You've got to hire out. You've got the things I'm not capable of. You guys, my branding and my graphics, I don't do. I hire that out. I don't do them. The cute little quote box, I give all credit to my VA because it's not my thing. So I hire it out. And then we're made up of our behavior. What is our actual action steps? And this is where I see my target market. This is where they're usually lacking. Is they are almost like know-it-alls, and I say this with so much respect, but they're like, oh, Chloe, stop doing that, please. They are like, oh, I've taken all the courses. I know what I'm doing. I'm just going to apply what I already know. And I'm like, that's awesome. But the problem is you weren't actually applying it before. You weren't actually held accountable. You weren't actually moving forward. You would never had anybody to be like, you have to do this. You know what I mean? So for me, this is where I find most of my target market is like they have all the education, but their behavior just sucks. Like their action steps are just not in alignment with what they need to do. Half the time they're like, I don't even know what I need to do, what I don't need to do. They just wing it every day. Maybe I'll just show up, and they're just hoping for that genie to come down and like sparkle something on them. And then they'll get a little bit of a win, so they feel successful, but work is always feeling so hard to them because they're always chasing. And they're chasing, it's like the blind leading the blind. They have all this information, but they don't really know where they're guided to. And so that's what I typically find a lot of people do. And I can see this because I know my own faults. I know that I need somebody to hold me accountable to my action steps. I just need somebody every day to be like, did you do this or did you not do this? Nope, I didn't. Okay, gonna get to it, because it puts that pressure on me. Like I have deadlines. I have to make things happen. I have to show up. Like if you guys saw my schedule, everything is in my schedule. If you want to know the quickest way to get yourself up and going, book your schedule back to back. I promise you'll figure it out. You know what I mean? And so you have your behaviors, then you also have your environment. And your environment is like, who are you really surrounding yourself with? For example, I like to use this example because it's easy for people to understand. Say you have a husband that works a 9 to 5, and he comes home and he's super tired and he's just exhausted, and he comes home and the kids are screaming, dinner's not made, everything's chaotic. It's like his environment is affecting his mood, his behavior, his actions, what he feels like he's capable in that moment, and it all trickles down. And which then he's grumpy, then you're mad, and all these things just trickle on down, all because it could have been shifted due to the environment. So when you look at these different topics, that this was actually supposed to be live in my private group, but then I got going and realized I wasn't. So you're welcome. You all get this. But as you start to realize where things are actually missing, then you can start to make a change. You know, is it a new skill set I need to learn? Is it maybe I don't feel capable? Maybe it's your belief system. You just don't believe that it could happen for you. Everybody else gets lucky. Everybody else wins. And here's what I will tell you. Every single one of you have a mission. Every single one of you have a purpose here on earth. Not that you necessarily have to get paid for. Not saying you have to own your own business. But what I will tell you is you have something that's not being communicated. You're holding it in. You're holding in the fact that you have these things within inside of you, and you're afraid to let them out because you're afraid of offending. You're afraid of what people may say. You're afraid of maybe confrontation. That's a huge one. And let me tell you, I offend people every day, and it's not my intention. But the people that I actually changed their life, they know my intention. They know where I'm at and they know where I stand. They know who I am at heart and that I would never intentionally harm people, but I am pretty hardcore. I can come across as I say things like your action steps suck. And if they do, I'm just going to say that. It's not that I'm meaning you're a horrible person and you're lazy. I'm just saying you've got to start to make some changes that really are going to help you grow in your sales, grow in your business, and grow in your life. And Amanda says, it's like I'm being called out. So I outed myself. Yeah, I definitely am what you're describing. And that's okay. See, that right there, that's ownership. That's ownership of being, I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to call myself out and I'm going to make a change. But I surround myself with so many people that show they're successful, but they're actually really not doing what they're supposed to do. You're mean in a good way. That's all right. Minky always says I'm the nicest asshole she's ever met. And it's because I love you enough to not be another fluffy coach to just motivate you. I love motivating you. I love inspiring you. And when you really get down deep working with me, you see more of the love and the acceptance per se. But I also set very hardcore boundaries of who I will and will not work with. Like, you've got to be committed and you've got to be so sick of your shit that you're ready to move, because I just can't. I want to save the world, and I spent a lot of time, reaching out to like people that I wanted to save. And I was just attracting people that were just soaking up information. You guys, I put a lot of information in this video because it was meant to go in a private group, but there's obviously a reason that I'm live here. And I already know 90% of you haven't been taking notes. Probably most of you are never going to even think about this video again, because you're subconsciously not making it a priority to be like, now that I hear this, what am I going to do about it? What am I going to do about it? And so I want to thank you guys for listening, and I'm going to kind of end it here. I had some more to go into with like communication and NLP stuff and things like that, but I think I'm going to go do that over in my other group, Expand Your Destiny, just so this isn't a super long video on my personal page. But I do want to invite you guys. I do have people that truly want to work with me, and they just flat out cannot afford it in their mind. We all know what I think about that. If it's a priority, you will feel it, and you will make it happen. There's someone on here that's going to be like, nope, I want to just work with her one-on-one. I'm going to make it happen, and I know she can get me to my goals. I can. I already know I can. I help people get to $20,000 months all the time. I help somebody manifest a $5 million ranch. I help. That's what I do on a daily basis. That's easy to me. In your mind, if you're like, yeah, no way, she can't help me, you already know you're probably not meant to work with me one-on-one because you don't trust me. If you don't trust me, don't work with me. But I had this download 2 days ago, and to really step in and say, okay, for those people that really just almost need that proof, like, prove it to me, Nicole. Prove it to me that you can really help me. Prove it to me at a level that I understand, that's not so far-fetched of, oh, you can make me $50,000, and it sounds like one of those too good to be true. I wish I had a small testimonial to give you, but I literally don't. And I've literally had all the people I've ever worked with, I've had 2 people not get financial results. Financial. They still will admit it was me. It was my mindset, but I still gained so much knowledge, and I broke through so much. They will never bash me. So it's not like, oh, she's a fraud. It was, I still learned so much, but nope, I didn't get my financial refund back at that time. Or return at that time. So what I've created is a small, I'm only accepting 6 people. 6 people. You get to work with me one-on-one in a group setting. So it's like one-on-one coaching. You don't get all of the other perks, but you do get these 2 things, which are the most important. You get Boxer with me every single day to help you close deals, to help you just work through things as they come up, as those sabotages that come up. This isn't for full-on appointments. It's just to work like as you need. And you get weekly appointments with these 6 people where you get to learn strategies that everybody else has or that everybody else needs, Plus also you get a chance to be like, this is where I'm at, help me, what do you suggest? So it's almost like a big Q&A, and I will help you go towards your goals. I've never ever offered this. This is totally a God thing. I felt really called to do it, and I don't usually just shout out prices, but I believe the value is there. With that lady I worked with today, I can guarantee you that just the appointment that we had today with her to help her tweak the way that she was communicating how she was selling things for a course that she has out there, she would easily make that $350 back today, if that's what it was. Because the investment for this course, it's not a course, it's a group mentorship, is $350. $350 for a month with me with 6 other people to help you reach your goals. If you cannot even invest $350, I can refer you to somebody else that would be a really good coach for the level that you're at. But if you've been like, I want to work with her one-on-one, but I'm letting the little chatter of I can't afford it work, make sure you be one of these 6 people. I already have 2 of the spots full without even launching it yet. 2 of the spots full. So that means how many more people? 4 more people. 4 more people. First come, first serve. If you want it, let me know. I'll get you in. But thank you guys. Thank you for letting me show you my my mentor coach side. I get really hardcore in my groups with like expand your destiny and building your destiny. Like we go into the nitty gritty like this and even deeper with the how-tos. I don't usually do this on my personal page. Like I said, there's a reason I'm live right now, and it's because you probably need to hear this or hear something that I just said. And sometimes I come off pretty hardcore, but that's the whole point. I'm willing to tough love you through your excuses, tough love you as much as you want it. I want you to hit your goals in 2020 more than you want you to hit your goals in 2020. I can promise you that. I take on, ask my husband, I take on so much anxiety that if all of my clients do not get a return on investment, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm nipping them on the butt. I actually had a client tell me today, okay, I get like that, like, she's like, when I get pushed too much, I want to run away. And I said, then I just want an agreement that when we are working together, if you're not moving this fast, you might not get the return as fast as you want. And she's like, it's totally fine. I'm getting so much value, but I honestly place that anxiety on myself. I got to get an ROI for him. I got to get an ROI because it's really important to me. I've been screwed over many, many times. And right now in the coaching industry, there's a lot of people that are not doing things in integrity, and it is always my heart and my hope to make sure I'm in integrity to serve you in the best, highest possible way. So thanks for letting me show you a very intense side of me, being real, teaching you everything that's in this head and brain of mine, and I hope to work with you. Bye. Maybe my computer, it's like always wanting to not end my live video. Have a good day, you guys. See, I'm pushing end. Maybe I'm supposed to stay on and talk to you guys.